You might experience an issue with your motor mesh, and that means that these two gears might not be meshing. In order for that to occur, one of these two screws holding the motor in that spot might have come loose. So as you can see, you need to stick in an Allen wrench through the hole and loosen up the screw right here, and this will allow you to move the motor back and forth, and this will allow you to change the mesh right there for a different pinion gear, or simply adjusting the mesh for the vehicle as it's already set up. If you have an issue with the vehicle not properly moving forward, or simply making a really weird, terrible noise, you might want to adjust your mesh. You might experience an issue with ground clearance in the vehicle. The fuel cell setup added a lot of weight to the vehicle, so much so that it practically has no ground clearance. We're talking like less than a millimeter of ground clearance, kind of bad. And that may result in losing traction over surfaces that have even the tiniest bit of rocks or anything. One thing you can do is include in the setup is shock spacers, these round units right here. So what you got to do is got to get the vehicle. See, these are the shocks. You gotta push down the shock with its top clip, and you gotta put this in the way. So now, as you can see, there's a spacer right there, which increases overall the spring rate of the shock, which means it will now take more downwards force to compress it, and in practice, it means the vehicle now has a higher ground clearance. So you're less likely to bottom out and damage the vehicle or slide out over certain objects. And do that for all four corners. So arguably the most painful part about RC building is the wheels and tires. So what you got to do is, you get to the wheel, and there's a foam on the inside, and this is, of course, this is the tire, this is the wheel. So you got to force the wheel inside the tire, and be mindful because of the direction it goes. This larger side with the thicker sidewall goes on where the dish faces. You just have to force it in and kind of massage it into spot. You need to be mindful of the lip of the wheel, of the tire, and have it fit into the channel right there. Okay, the face is all right. Now do the rear. Okay, now this is done. So what has to be done next is, you need to put glue on the inside of that lip throughout the whole thing on the rear and the front. And this is the hardest part because you are more than certainly going to glue yourself. About as follows. Ooh. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, this is pretty painful at times because you will end up gluing yourself. So now that the rear is done, do the front face. Peel back the tire slightly, and pour in glue. And hope it channels into that channel and will seal properly. And you need to repeat this step with all four rubber wheels, and I believe also the included foam wheels. In case you're curious, rubber wheels are intended for more all-terrain surfaces, while the included foam wheels are intended for carpeted surfaces. And after you've successfully unglued your hand from the wheel, you have a very sloppy but glued wheel. And you put this on the vehicle, and that is that. Repeat this 4 times, one for each wheel.